Today, we have extremely exciting news, information that the community has been eagerly awaiting. On this upcoming May 14th, the Pi Network project will officially announce its ecosystem. This is a significant step forward, aligning with one of the prerequisites for Open Mainnet that the Pi core team has announced. There must be at least 100 applications ready for operation. If Pi Network's Web3 ecosystem truly explodes and succeeds, it will create a massive demand for Picoin, potentially having a strong impact on Picoin's value. But the big question we're all concerned about is, can the Picoin price recover and return to its historical peak of around $3? For the most realistic perspective and assessment, join Pi from us for a deeper analysis in today's video. And don't forget, if you find this video helpful, please support us by liking, sharing this video, and subscribing to the Pi from Us channel. We commit to always bringing you the most accurate information, the most objective market analysis of the cryptocurrency world, as well as the latest updates from the Pi Network project. Analyzing the current ecosystem and expectations, 100 flowers blooming, or just old wine in a new bottle? The news about Pi Network announcing its ecosystem will undoubtedly create a strong wave of FOMO, fear of missing out, within the Pioneer community. This is understandable, as everyone hopes for a bright future for Picoin. However, if you regularly use the Pi browser, you're likely familiar with the existing Web3 applications in the Pi ecosystem. Admittedly, many of these applications, such as Map of Pi, Fruity Pi, or e-commerce platforms like Picoin Mall, are still fundamentally simple applications, somewhat resembling Web2 applications that have been converted. We can see that Map of Pi has attracted over 1.8 million pioneers to search for businesses and has received over 45,000 reviews. Fruity Pi, a game developed by the Article 19 Group Inc., an entity with experience working with big names like Disney and Nintendo, also shows positive signs of attracting quality developers. Picoin Mall has also completed its KIB Know Your Business verification document review phase, a necessary step for official operation. Nevertheless, for Picoin to truly have value and grow sustainably, we need more than that. The community expects the emergence of truly groundbreaking applications, high-quality games, or services with high user demand, creating a strong flow of Picoin within the ecosystem. The fact that Pi Network has over 100 applications ready for mainnet is an encouraging signal in terms of quantity and preparation. The Pi core team's strategy is to make application development as easy as possible and to encourage user interaction through the Pi browser and Mainnet, where Web3 applications can be shared on Web2 as well. However, the key lies not in quantity, but in the quality and practical utility of these applications. Do they solve a problem for users? Do they create real value? That's what matters. A strong Web3 ecosystem with highly applicable applications will naturally create demand for Picoin. The success of the ecosystem heavily depends on the ability to attract talented developers and businesses to build truly useful utilities for the Pioneer community. The open network phase, when barriers are removed, will be the decisive moment for these applications to prove their worth. Pi Network aims for a utility-based ecosystem where millions of KIC-verified pioneers can use Pi for real-world functions and applications. 2. Picoin price. Can it return to shore at $3? This is perhaps the most anticipated part. Where will the Picoin price go after these important announcements? Signals from the US market and OX exchange. Noteworthy information is that users in the US can now reportedly conduct Picoin buy or sell transactions through the OX exchange. This is a positive signal because the US market is considered to have a very large demand for Picoin. Interestingly, this is also the community that might have previously overlooked the Pi Network project, with a relatively small number of pioneers mining Picoin. However, they have financial potential and are willing to buy Picoin when given the opportunity. Many loyal viewers of Pi from Us have also shared their strategy of accumulating Picoin monthly, a long-term asset accumulation approach based on belief in the project's potential. This is a strategy worth considering, and remember, always stay away from risky futures trading that could lead to a total loss. However, it must be clarified that Picoin trading on exchanges like OX, especially for US users, is strictly governed by local financial regulations. OX has separate services and platforms for US users, and whether Picoin is available to them needs to be checked directly on the OX platform for the US market. Therefore, pioneers in the US need to be extremely careful and thoroughly understand the exchange's terms of service. Be technical analysis and market sentiment with hot news like the upcoming ecosystem announcement. coupled with the fact that Picoin's price has been consolidating for a fairly long time around the $0.6 mark. It's not surprising that the market price saw an approximately 10% increase shortly thereafter. The Consensus 2025 event, taking place from May 14th to 16th in Toronto, is considered a crucial moment. In particular, the speech by Dr. Nicolas Kokkalis, founder of Pi Network, on May 16, 2035 21:05 India Standard Time, titled How AI plus Blockchain Infrastructure Can Drive Mainstream Adoption, is attracting significant attention. Many expect the speech to reveal more about Pi Network's vision and next development steps, possibly including information about Mainnet. There's a very high probability that from now until then, the Picoin price will continue to see positive fluctuations. What price level can Picoin reach? Recalling February 2025, Picoin once reached an all-time high of around $2.98. The $3 target is an ambitious figure, and returning to this level depends on many factors, not just the ecosystem announcement. While some analysts predict Picoin could reach around $1 after the consensus event, we need to remember that these are all reference opinions. Let's wait and see what milestones Picoin will conquer by May 16th. And pioneers, don't hesitate to leave your price predictions for Picoin on that day in the comments. See key factors for sustainable growth. For Picoin to grow sustainably, relying solely on news or events is insufficient. The core factor still lies in the project's intrinsic value. This means the ecosystem must have high-quality applications that offer real utility and are widely adopted by the community. The upcoming ecosystem announcement is an important stepping stone, but the successful operation and widespread acceptance of Open Mainnet are the long-term growth drivers for Picoin. 3. Exchanges and KIB check the goods before trading. Recently, there has been continuous speculation about major exchanges like HEX, formerly Huobi, or even Binance potentially listing Picoin. This information has made the community extremely excited. However, we can easily verify this information ourselves. The key lies in the KIB Know Your Business process. This is a process for verifying a business's identity, ownership, and regulatory compliance, aimed at minimizing fraud and ensuring transparency, especially important for financial or cryptocurrency businesses wanting to interact with Pi Network and its users. Exchanges can only officially list Picoin if they are granted a Pi Mainnet business wallet by the Pi core team. And this only happens when their names appear on the list of businesses that have completed KIB on Pi Network's official website. You can directly visit the Pi Network website and find the list of KIB verified businesses to check. According to official information from Pi Network, the current list of KIB approved businesses includes Ox, Mex, Pionex, Banksa, BitGet, and Gate.io. Notably, HEX and Binance are not currently on this list. Although the community is very hopeful, and there are many rumors about Binance listing Pi, we must rely on official information. The KIB process acts as an important filter, ensuring that only compliant and legitimate organizations can deeply participate in the Pi ecosystem. However, this process can sometimes be a bottleneck, slowing down the integration of new services and exchanges, as was the case with Picoin Mall, which had to wait for final approval, or complaints about the slow speed of KIB approvals. The absence of major exchanges on the KIB list is a factor that needs careful consideration. For pioneers in the US, as mentioned, trading cryptocurrencies, including Picoin, on international exchanges like Ox may face complex regulations and specific restrictions. Always thoroughly check the terms of use and applicable regulations in your region before making any transactions. 4. Protecting your Picoin safety first. An extremely important thing that pifromus always wants to emphasize is the protection of your own Picoin assets. As you know, and as users themselves warned in the initial request, hackers are constantly trying to steal users' 24-word passphrases. This is not an empty threat. The 24-word passphrase is the sole and ultimate key to accessing your Pi wallet. Losing this passphrase means you could lose all the Picoin you have painstakingly mined. So, what is our defense strategy? Activate fingerprint lock. Enable fingerprint authentication on your Pi wallet. This is an additional biometric security layer that helps enhance your wallet's security. Absolute security of the 24-word passphrase. Never, absolutely never enter your 24-word passphrase on any website, nor share it with anyone via message, including those claiming to be Pi Network support staff. Avoid taking screenshots or storing it digitally on devices connected to the internet. The best way is to write it down on paper, create multiple copies, and store them in safe, separate, offline locations. Trust only official sources, always download the Pi Wallet application and get information from Pi Network's official channels to avoid fake websites or scam applications. One point to clarify is the security mechanism of the Pi Wallet. Many users are accustomed to using two-factor authentication to FA on centralized exchanges. However, for self-custody wallets like Pi Wallet, the primary security mechanism relies on the passphrase. Implementing traditional 2FA would require a central authority for authentication, which goes against the decentralized principles of blockchain technology. Therefore, the responsibility for protecting the passphrase lies entirely with the user. The human factor, your own caution and understanding, is the strongest layer of protection. Always remember the warning, don't wait until Picoin has high value, only to find you have no Pi to sell. Late regrets cannot recover what has been lost. Thus, we have gone through a detailed analysis of the important upcoming developments for Pi Network. Here are some key takeaways: the ecosystem announcement event on May 14th and Pi Network's participation in Consensus 2025 are noteworthy milestones, promising to bring valuable information to the community. The success of Open Mainnet and the future value of Picoin depend heavily on the quality and practical utility of the applications within the ecosystem, not just the quantity. The expectation of Picoin returning to the $3 price level has some basis if fundamental factors are secured, but a realistic perspective is needed, balancing hope with an understanding of market dynamics. When it comes to exchanges, always check the official KIB list from Pi Network. Pioneers in the US need to be particularly cautious about legal regulations. And finally, securing your 24-word passphrase is the paramount responsibility of every pioneer. Pi Network's journey is still ahead, with many opportunities and challenges. Patience, understanding, and caution will be valuable companions for pioneers. Good luck, pioneer. Your Pi, your choice.